Hello again, welcome back to another Bosch and Roll Legacy video. Eternal Weekend 2020 is being held online, and I'm recording this on Monday, and it starts on Friday. There's 3 main events, starting at pretty drastically different times, I believe, to accommodate the uh, America, Europe, and Asian time zones. But it's coming up quick. I've dumped a lot of videos in the past week, 2 weeks really. A lot of different decks have been played on this channel. Check it out. I did a Twitter thread at Bosch and Roll about what kind of decks you might be into if you're new to Legacy. The the event provides a God account, so you can play whatever you want as soon as you buy your entry fee, which you can do right now. It's live. You get access to every card. So check out that thread, check out my old videos, see what you're into. But for today, I have not played this deck in a while on stream, so I'm going to get back to it. The last time I recorded this video, put up a trophy, 5-0'd the league, and I think that this deck is still doing a lot of what I like in the format. So the best deck right now is Rug Delver, by a lot. This deck it's got the Swords to Plowshares, got the Supreme Verdict, got the Snapcaster to pressure, Wasteland to beat up on their light mana sources, 7 basic lands to dodge their Wastelands. I really like this deck's position against something like Rug Delver. Also, the decks that are built to beat Rug Delver are like lands decks, decks with Punishing Fire, their own Wastelands, Chalice of the Voids, that kind of stuff. And this deck is pretty solid against those sort of decks too. So when you're in a spot to beat the best deck and the deck that beats the best deck, that's a good spot to be. So I'm into this. One change I'm thinking about making is adding a back to basics into the sideboard, but I have the Wasteland Crucible package in the main, which I think already checks the box that back to basics would. I'll have to get a little more testing. I'm not going to make the change for today, but that might be an additional hammer worth exploring. Uh, if you haven't seen the previous videos, this is a control deck, and it's based on the interaction between Shark Typhoon, Standstill, and Hall of Heliod's Generosity. So, Standstill, whenever a player casts a spell, sacrifice Standstill. If you do, each of that player's opponents draws 3. So the plan is to jam Standstill, make my land drops, and eventually force my opponent to cast a spell, so I get to draw 3 cards. Shark Typhoon, you can cycle to make an XX blue shark token, and cycling is not casting a spell, it's an activated ability. So you can make XX flying creatures and continue to draw cards even under your own standstill. Then Hall of Heliod's Generosity puts an enchantment from your graveyard on top of your library. So you cycle Shark Typhoon, you put it on top of your deck, you get a 4/4, and because you're cycling, you get an XX, and because you're cycling, you also draw a card, which is going to be Shark Typhoon because you just put it on top of your deck. So you can continue to advance. You're drawing 2 cards a turn. One of them is the same Shark Typhoon over again. You're hitting your land drops. Your sharks are getting bigger, and if your opponent ever tries to do anything about it, you draw 3 cards. And that is a tight little 7-card package plus a land, like 7.5 card package, in what is basically a miracle shell. Just blue-white control with some sweet planeswalkers, lots of removal, lots of counterspells. This deck is pretty straightforward, and it was really good last time I played it. Let's see if it's still holding up, and let's get into some games. All right, it's round 1. We're on the draw. I'm going to keep this hand. It's a 1-lander, but the deck plays 21 lands, so 1 in 3 cards left in the deck is a land. We have our draw step because we're on the draw, and then our draw step for turn 2. So that's 2 cards naturally, plus the brainstorm. We get to see 5 cards before we have to worry about missing a land drop. And if the math holds up, about 2 of them will be lands. So let's see how this goes. Obviously, sometimes you get betrayed by brainstorm, but there's a pretty good chance that we're going to hit and be okay. And once we hit land number 2, we have Standstill. We got Shark Typhoon now, Crucible to pull ahead. So the long-term plan of this is pretty good. Assuming we hit our second land in the top 4 cards of our deck next turn. Our opponent played Taiga, which makes me think they are... Oh, that's weird. Okay, they just passed a second main. So playing Taiga makes me think that they are lands, but playing Taiga nothing makes me think they're Belcher. Okay, so I'm going to get a basic island here in case they are lands. This is not a hand where I can afford to be wastelanded. And then I'm going to brainstorm and hope to find a fetch land so I can hold up this Spell Pierce. All right, no problem. So I'm going to get to hold up Spell Pierce and Force of Will next turn. Council's Judgment is not going to be a good card against this deck, I promise. Pretty much either way. And then if they don't do anything, I'm just going to play Standstill. Which is good because we got to get through these bricks on top of the deck. That's kind of dangerous because it taps me off of my Spell Pierce, but really, like, what am I looking for? If not jamming Standstill when my opponent hasn't done anything. Okay, so they're not Belcher. I am so confused and suspicious right now about what's happening. All right, I'm just going to go to discard and discard a Council's Judgment. I'm really far off from casting that. I'm going to cycle Shark Typhoon in the end step. I don't get a shark, but I do draw a card. And hitting land drops in this position is basically the only important thing. Yeah, I thought jamming Standstill was super smart based on them missing their land drop for several turns. Okay, so they are a combo deck, confirmed. I just drew 3 cards. So I have to assume that I'm going to have to beat a Veil of Summer this turn. This looks like the Epic Storm. That's the only deck I can think of that plays Taiga and Underground Sea. All right, they did not exile 2 Chrome Mox. And I have Supreme Verdict if they go for just like a medium number of goblins this turn. I can verdict that. All right, they have so much mana that Spell Pierce was never going to be good, pretty much. It's got to hope 2 counter spells do the job here. Wishclaw Talisman. So I think I want to counterspell this. If their last card in hand is Veil of Summer plus some other way to win the game, plus like Burning Wish, then I'm in trouble. If they don't have Veil at all, I should win pretty easily. I guess if their last card in hand is just actual Tendrils, but Tendrils isn't in the main deck. They have to wish for it, so they can't just have Natty Tendrils. And they're all in. Let's see if the last card is Burning Wish. All right, yes, it is Burning Wish. I'm gonna force pitching. I think I want to pitch to Fairy. Yeah, that is the least exciting card in this hand by a lot. Now I have 7 cards in hand and they have 0. Standstill is a hell of a magic card. So I'm trying to figure out how I lose off the top. So I'm way ahead now, but they could draw like Burning Wish off the top and get Echo of Aeons and then Lion's Eye Diamond and get a fresh 7 cards. I don't really want that to happen. So I'm going to start wasting them out. As much as I would like to jam this Standstill right now, I need to get Crucible into play first, and then next turn I can Standstill with basically impunity. I just need to fade one draw step. But like their best draw being Burning Wish for Echo still gives me a fresh 7 cards. So I'm not even like deterministically dead if that happens. And if they just draw like a land or ritual or just anything other than Burning Wish, we're just fine. Because the Wasteland next turn will make Spell Pierce just as live as possible. This is a little awkward because I'm not even sure if I want to stand still with them being Hellbent. I'm pretty sure I don't want to do that actually. Because this Brainstorm is going to be pretty good. Like this Swords to Plowshares and these extra lands are not things that I want in my hand. Force of Will is something I definitely want in my hand. Alright, so I can put back these extra fetch lands because I have one in my graveyard. Myth Realized, we have a win condition. We can get Tundra. And now I can stand still because I have Myth Realized in play. Now I'll just hit my land drops. I have counter spells in hand. This is going to be really hard for them to win. Oh, they're going for it. I guess if they lead on Veil of Summer, they'll at least know what's going on. But if they have to just like ponder to try to get anything going, and we reload. Okay. I'm going to save my Force of Will. As good as forcing Brainstorm there would probably be. Maybe I should have forced Brainstorm there, actually, based on the way this game has gone. Alright, 1 card left in hand, and I have Force of Will. So I don't think there is 1 card that can beat me here. Like, this looks like Wishclaw Talisman or Burning Wish, yeah. Alright, at this point I can pitch Supreme Verdict. I don't think I'm in danger of getting goblined out of this game. Yeah, alright. 7 cards in hand to your 0 for the second time this game. Just squeeze them out. Right. We kind of got away with something in that game, though, because our opening hand was not good against the Epic Storm. They just took their sweet time doing anything. Right, cards that are not so good. Jace is slow. All this spot removal is kind of a joke. I still like Supreme Verdict for cleaning up goblins. We have Null Rod and Stony Silence and Deafening Silence and Flusterstorm and Surgical and Pyroblast. I also like Monastery Mentor against combo because being able to turn the corner quickly and win the game after they miss or after you stop them once is really good. That goes in this pile. It's coming in, not out. I don't know if I want the third Supreme Verdict. That's kind of a back and forth thing that different players do. Like some players board in every possible answer to every possible situation. I board in as many as I think I'm going to need, though I do think it's likely that they're going to go for a mini goblins situation rather than tendrils me out. So I do want the Supreme Verdict. Then wait, I'm cutting the Crucible anyway, so I can go less on the Wasteland. That's not really a plan. I don't need the basic mountain because they can't kill my lands. You normally want the basic mountain in matchups where you want Pyroblast and they have Wasteland, so like Delver matchups. So one more cut. Teferi isn't great. Standstill's fine. All right, yeah, I think Teferi is the cut. So just bringing in tons of answers, both additional counterspells and permanent-based hate. And then chopping out all this slow or not important to the matchup mess. All right, that's my deck. All right, so do I think I'm going to get to turn 2 is the question here. I'm going to keep and hope that they respect my counter suite. Like if they just jam, I'm dead. But if I get to turn 2 and can stick the Stony Silence, that's one of the best cards in the format against their deck. This is one of those times that you're glad Gataxian Probe isn't legal anymore. I also wish one of these planes was a fetch land so I could hold up Pyroblast on turn 1, slow down some cantrips or something, but here we are. I've kept the hand. The cool thing about Force of Will, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap existing, and the fact that they saw several of those cards last game, it's like you have it all the time, even when you don't have it. They could also just go for it, and I lose. Looks like they're doing that. Okay, they're just setting up a defense grid. Or, all right, yeah. Joke's on you, sucker. I couldn't defend anyway. Let's see if I'm dead turn 2, though, or if they have to set up more. Like, if they spend this turn, activate, like, casting Wishclaw Talisman, we're going to win. All right, so I have both Stony Silence and Null Rod to fuck with here. So I'm pretty sure I want to Brainstorm first, because there's a lot of shitty cards in my hand. I would like to find a fetch land off this Brainstorm. Didn't get there. Did find Force of Negation, which is good to hold up next turn. So I don't need Wasteland or Hall right now. Now the question is Standstill or Null Rod. I'm pretty sure I want Null Rod. Because most of they play Abrupt Decay or Chain of Vapor, and bouncing one of these leaves the other behind. I'm into that. So by passing with all my lands up, I can pitch Standstill to Force of Negation and pay the 3 for Defense Grid if I need to. And if I don't need to, I can just make a 2/2 Shark and start beating down. And I have the Hall, so we have a very real win condition online here. And now I can jam one of these standstills and still hold up Force of Negation. Yeah, I would be impressed if they win this game. Like if they make a move, it'll trigger. Like even if they lead on Veil of Summer, it'll trigger Standstill. I draw 3 cards immediately, and then I can Force of Negation, whatever. Now I'm making a 4/4 Shark in their next end step. And now I can just hard cast Force of Negation. I don't even have to pitch a card. I probably should have wastelanded though. I wasn't really thinking about all of that. All right, 4/4 Shark. The battle cruiser's operational here. All right, I am going to wasteland them this time. The way I lose this game is they get their mana back under them. Like basically what Null Rod and Stony Silence do in this matchup is deny them mana. So I Wasteland just continues that plan. I probably didn't need to put the Typhoon on top there. They're on a 2-turn clock regardless. Though I guess now if they Abrupt Decay my 4/4 Shark, they're still dead. So I think that was right. But if they had Abrupt Decay and they pointed at my Shark, I'm winning anyway, because they need those to kill this sort of stuff. And if they do that, I draw 3. Yeah, I think that was fine. Ooh, I guess wasting means that if I draw a second Force, I can't cast both here. Yeah, let's see if that punishes me. Okay, so they have to... Like, none of those work. Those still don't work. Veil of Summer. I haven't cast a blue card. Alright, I mean, if I counter this, then I can't... It's not like I can follow up anyway. Okay, they just had nothing. Yeah, even I didn't even need the Null Rod. That hand didn't do anything. Interesting. All right, that was a pretty clean victory over the Epic Storm. All right, we're on the play for round 2. This hand has Island Ponder, so I'm going to keep it. If you're new to my channel, new to the way I play blue-white control decks, I keep basically every hand with basic Island Ponder in it. I'd feel better if this hand had a Force of Will, but I mean, if we get our lands under us, if they are any sort of creature deck, we're going to be fine. If they're a combo deck, there'll be like one turn where we're in some trouble, but then we'll be holding up Counterspell, we'll be able to brainstorm. So this hand is fine, especially on the play. The biggest punish for keeping hands like this is Chalice of the Void, but we'll see what Ponder shows. Like there's a good chance that Ponder will give us like Force of Will or Negation, and we can draw that and put a land underneath it, and then we're all set up for this turn and for next turn. So we'll see how it goes. Ideally, Ponder will find a fetch land so this Brainstorm can get rid of some of this redundant removal, upgrade it to some other stuff. But I love basic Island Ponder on turn 1. Okay, so we did in fact find a land. And next turn I can hold up Brainstorm and Spell Pierce. That's pretty good. We get completely demolished here by Chalice of the Void. But any other card I think I'm okay with. Obviously, like getting comboed out is bad. Okay, so this looks like Death Shadow, and this hand is effing bananas against Death Shadow. 2 Supreme Verdicts and a Plow. My goodness. Stop the damn match. He's already dead. So I do want to wait until their upkeep. Because if they flip Delver, I get a little bit more information. And I get and they gain 2 extra life, which is actually detrimental to their plan. And if they don't flip Delver, I can take 1 to get some extra information. Like if they just attack me for 1, they fetch here, they cast Death Shadow, then I might be able to like punish the Death Shadow with plowing the Delver on their next upkeep. Like if they cast a 3/3 Shadow, maybe I just wait on Delver. There's a lot of stuff going on here. That's what I love about Legacy. It's turn 2. I have 2 lands in play that, and I'm already just described like 4 different ways that I could play the exact cards that I already have. All right, so I will at least let it go to second main, because if they go like fetch Gurmag Angler, then that sucks for me. Okay, I'll just plow this Delver now. They missed their land drop. Looks like they don't have much else going on. Oh my goodness. Well, they missed their land drop last turn, and they cast Brainstorm, so they're probably Brainstorm locked. I fully expect my opponent to spend the next 2 turns doing nothing, just like draw, go. And then next turn they'll... Oh, they had a Wasteland. Okay. Why didn't they play that? That's weird. Maybe they put it on top with the Brainstorm. Punished. I guess I'll Brainstorm here. Let's see if I can get rid of this Tundra. Okay, I'm not going to get rid of the Tundra, but I don't need it right now, and I can get some momentum with a Shark here. I think it would be kind of crazy for them to Wasteland me when they're already Brainstorm locked with no lands, but I guess, I mean, Wasteland doesn't really do much in their deck. Most of their spells cost 1 colored mana, so definitely being able to avoid getting wasted is pretty nice. Alright, so now my options, I could Brainstorm again. I know that my next card down is not helpful. It's another Supreme Verdict. I think I can go ahead and run out the Tundra. If they waste it, they go back to 0 permanence in play, and that's like fine. I'll make a 2/2 Shark in response. It's a little awkward having a 2/2 Shark because the first attack will put them under 13 life, which is where Death Shadow wants to be. Like the card itself, Death Shadow. Alright, looks like they were going to get there anyway. But now because I have a clock, they have to kind of respect. Yeah, they fetched Underground Sea instead of Watery Grave, which is a play this deck doesn't usually make. If I draw a land, I'm just gonna play it and hold up these counter spells. If I don't draw a land, I'm gonna brainstorm on my turn. Though maybe that's not even true. Like holding up counterspell against this opponent who's not doing anything might just be great. Oh, I've been snoofed. Okay. Um, yeah, I am gonna brainstorm. Yikes. Okay. So Teferi's really good. Supreme Verdict is really good, but I can't cast it. So I'll hide the verdicts on top. I'll go for Standstill. They are a daze deck. If they force this, I don't care. If they daze it, that sucks. But I do need to get things moving. And if this resolves, I think it's going to be hard to lose. Because they are not a deck that wants to play draw go and just hit land drops and pass the turn. And this is good bait too. Like if they force of will this, that means they have less force of will for Teferi next turn. All right. Force of negation, pitching ponder. That's cool. If they had days, they would have just done that. Like no way you 2-for-1 yourself when you could just daze. Especially when you're already missing land drops, like the daze is kind of free. So now my option, I can just jam Teferi. I'm drawing Supreme Verdict, and I know my next card is also Supreme Verdict. I could jam Teferi, bounce Delver, or I could Ponder, try to hit a land drop, and that gives me the most velocity. I'm going to do that. I want to keep developing here. Ugh, that is ugly. All right, rewarded. Let's see, do they have a daze again? Or did they draw daze? Nope. All right. You're out of here. Oh, the Crucible going with the Wasteland here, and then I already have Teferi in place, so I know it's going to resolve. We should be able to figure this out from here. I hope. Guess they could play like a pretty big Death Shadow maybe, but I think that would have been in play already if they had it. It would have had to come off the top here. And Street Wraith is their draw for the turn, or else they would have cycled it earlier. Okay, they did find a Shadow. I'm at 17, which is a lot of life. A white source off the top would be the perfect draw. All right, not quite what I was after. So I plus Teferi, cast Myth, realized. All right, that can at least chump block if I feel like I need that, because I can play Crucible here. So do I chump block, or do I just waste them out? If they draw a fetch land, they can attack me for 9. Yeah, I think I'm more interested in this. Like they have no way to remove a Crucible in their deck. So if I like next turn, I can hit my white source, Supreme Verdict, and then win easily. Yeah, I'm fairly confident they have no way to give this thing plus 11, plus 11. And they are using an attack on Teferi, which is probably necessary. They are counting on their free spells because they don't have any mana to cast non-free spells. Oh, that was lucky. Another land. Right, I'll get my other basic planes. I'm going to Council's Judgment, not Supreme Verdict. Wait, does that make any sense? No, I think I Supreme Verdict here. Wait, CJ I can hold up Counterspell. Verdict I can hold up Spell Pierce, but like most of the things I care about are creatures. I can't activate Myth Realized for either of them. They can't really counter Council's Judgment. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Yeah, so they had Force. I had Pierce. Good thing we had that Wasteland, or else they could have paid for the Spell Pierce. All right, and now I managed to keep my good answer. I have a hard answer to a future thing, and Myth Realized is going to win this game in 2 turns. All the old Wasteland go. All right, I'll monk up here. Now the question is, if they have a like Fatal Push, do I counterspell? And I think I do. Like I don't really have to. I'm gonna win this game another way anyway, but I can get it done real quick. I think I actually win on the spot if this counterspell resolves. Yeah. All right. So they had to fetch, which puts them to 5. This goes to 4, and then from the counterspell, and then I can put a counter on it, make it 5. Yeah. Okay. So they're dead on the spot. That was definitely the right play. Okay. So Death Shadow, Supreme Verdict, best card. Monastery Mentor is great. I like Flusterstorm for the little fights we're going to get in. They're going to play on a small amount of resources the whole game. Pyroblast is medium, but I'll put it in the maybe pile. The rest of this stuff doesn't really matter. I mean, they might have like a Winter Orb or something for disenchant, but I play Council's Judgment and Teferi, so I'm not super worried about that. Force of Negation is not great. Teferi's or Jace isn't great. Teferi is very great. All of my removal and 1-mana spells are great. As cool as Crucible was last game, I don't really think that's the plan. I also want to. So we're reaching the point where on the draw against Death Shadow, Standstill might be a liability. But now we're at the point where I have 4 cards I want to cut, and I have a 3-card set I'd like to bring in, but then an extra 4-card set that I'd also like to bring in. So I've cut 4 cards. I need to find 3 more, or just go skinny. And I'm not sure. So cutting a second Standstill against this deck is okay, I think, especially on the draw. Force of Will I love Force of Will in this matchup. Because they have so few threats in their deck, they have like the 4 Delvers, the 4 Shadows, and some Gurmags. And then like if you can like plow 2 of them, bounce one with Teferi, and force another, you're gonna win. And Wasteland's good. Like I don't want to cut any of my lands. I have to find one more cut though, for this to work. Actual counterspell's a little wonky. It's good if you're set up, it's bad if you're not. It's probably better than. No, on the draw, I want the Force of Will. On the play, I'll switch that back to counterspell. Okay. This is a deck. Yeah, Death Shadow, I love this matchup with any blue-white control deck with lots of basic lands. Like this is good pickings. A healthy lunch. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with these fetch lands because I have all three colors in my deck. My main deck is only blue-white, but we have the sideboard red card. So I guess it depends on what they do here. Thoughtseize. Okay. That makes for easy wastelanding. Like normally Wasteland in this deck is supposed to be like more surgical. Like I play the two of them so like you don't lose to Dark Depths on turn 2, and then like with the Crucible you can have a late game engine. But in a situation like this where my opponent on their light light deck does not lead on a threat, I'm just gonna crack the Wasteland and maybe they lose. We'll see. Do you have Surgical Extraction to follow up? Thoughtseize plus Plow on surgical, or plus Surgical on Plow is like one of Death Shadow's favorite lines to take. All right, let's see. Uh, the the great thing about that line is that even if they just play a land and keep playing, we're in the same spot we were last turn, and it's just like all the same. It didn't really cost me anything to do that. All right, so Delver, I can beat that. Got that one covered. So I could take a turn to Ponder. I like that. I'm gonna get the basic island, get that set up. Then next turn I can Red Blast with Spell Pierce protection. I have 19 life, and Delver is not really the scariest thing in the world. Delver's kind of scary on turn 1. It's not so bad on turn 3. This is not good. All right, yeah, I'll take a Plains here. Now we're set up. I can fetch basic island or basic mountain with the Scalding Tarn now, and the Plains will play Teferi the following turn. I might have to force a Death Shadow if they cast it here, because I don't have a better answer. I will definitely force a Gurmag Angler. All right, I'm not going to force a Delver. Ooh. I might have to force the third Delver. Okay, if they have Daze, that sucks. But they are about out of cards here. Okay, that was a nice pickup. Okay, so now because I drew Flusterstorm, I can let them get to their upkeep and maybe give me some information off Delver. All right, Delvers didn't flip. So I'm going to take the 2 damage, because 2 damage doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to try to get 2 cards off this Flusterstorm later. Like if they Ponder, Brainstorm, Thoughtseize. Yikes. All right. That one, not so much. All right, I'll kill this. All right, I guess moment of truth here. Were they ready for this Teferi? They sawed off the Thoughtseize. Do they have the Spell Pierce or Daze? Yep, okay. Can't pay 1 for Daze. So they get to shock that Watery Grave back in. That's 6, maybe up to 9 damage. So I could definitely lose this game now. All right, Delver not flipping is a gift. It's still a 2-turn clock either way, so I shouldn't be too excited about that. Swords to Plowshare is probably my best draw. Usually is in this matchup. What does this do? If they cast any spells, this can chump block because I Flusterstorm to get a counter, and then I can make a 1/1. If they just go to combat, I lose though. All right, cast a spell. Cast a spell. Just ponder. Thoughtseize. All right, nope, they just went to combat. I'm dead. So this was a case of my answers not lining up. They had 4 creatures in play at one point. They had like 3 Delvers and Death Shadow. They lose to one of my Supreme Verdicts, but they easily push through my 1 Pyroblast. So that'll happen sometimes. Okay, so they are on the draw now. I actually think I like Standstill more than I like Counterspell. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, I need to get ahead on cards. If they're able to Thoughtseize to just pick apart my hand and then beat me down, that's a good spot for them to be in. So I need to just raw card advantage, get way ahead of them. Like, Rest in Peace turns off Gurmag Angler, but it also turns off Snapcaster Mage, and I think my Snapcasters are better than their Gurmags. So I didn't bring that in. This hand is fine. It's not exactly thrilling, but like it's kind of Thoughtseize proof. Once I get to 3 mana, I can start making chump blockers that cantrip. So like uncounterable cantripping chump blockers, that's pretty good. So I mean, this hand is fine. You don't really want to count on your opener to win the game anyway because they have the discard spells. Like, I'm not going to mulligan to a 6 that has Swords to Plowshares because then they Thoughtseize Swords to Plowshares and I have less cards. I'm going to play Island, not Fetch Land, because I don't know what I need to do with this Fetch Land yet. Like, I really want it to be a white source, but if I have to counterspell on turn 2, then I'd have to fetch Tundra, which plays into Wasteland, and all of that sounds pretty bad. All right, I'm going to play the Island for the reason I just described. Like, I really don't want to put Tundra into play if I don't have to. Uh-oh, flipped right away. That's okay. Shark Typhoon is a pretty good Delver answer. I'm unfortunately going to have to take 6 from it before it answers it. I'll counterspell literally anything they put on the stack this turn. Like, I just don't want to waste this mana. Yep. Literally anything they put on the stack. And if this Thoughtseize doesn't resolve, then they stay at 13 life and they can't Death Shadow. Like, they probably want to Thoughtseize into Death Shadow here. Another Delver. All right. Sucks, but okay. We are not in a position to wasteland. We're way too far behind. We want our mana to actually make mana. Just gotta hope this Delver doesn't flip. All right, that Delver didn't flip. So I can block that with a 1/1 Shark. Let's see if they play around it. Nope, no chance. All right, basic planes. One Shark. Do they have the removal spell? Not yet. They're looking for it though. All right, that was a great exchange right there. I think I will Force of Will a Death Shadow. I don't know. I don't want to do that, but let's hope they just don't have one. Don't make me choose. Like if I force Death Shadow, they can't Force of Negation me back because it's their own turn. If they have Daze, I'm just dead. I'm gonna have 4 mana next turn, so the next Shark Typhoon can eat this Delver. We're seeing the push and pull of the basic mana base here, because I have 4 basics, 3 different colors. I can't get wastelanded. I can cast all my spells. However, I would much rather have dual lands in play because I can't cast Supreme Verdict if I draw it. I can't cast Council's Judgment. If I had been able to fetch Flooded Strand to like get a Tundra instead, we'd be better off. But instead, I just hope that of these 4 cards in hand plus the 3 they're looking at with Ponder right now, at least one is a wasteland. Like at least one blank card. That's my dream. They chose to shuffle. That's good news. Delver. Okay. Delver is not Death Shadow, and I really don't want to Force a Will. Okay, so let's hope Delver doesn't flip again. That's always the hope. Oh, Delver flipped revealing Thoughtseize. That's a beating. I guess we'll find out how much of a beating it actually is when this cycle resolves. Okay, that got a lot better. I was really worried about Thoughtseize taking my Brainstorm and then my hand is just garbage. But having Ponder to dig for removal is pretty great. I just hope they can't Thoughtseize into Death Shadow here. I'm not going to Force a Will this Thoughtseize. No chance. Because I would have to pitch one of the cards that they're going to take with Thoughtseize, and then they get basically 2 cards instead of 1. I guess depending on what their hand looks like. Oh, they took Spell Pierce. Interesting. I guess Spell Pierce fights their Force of Negation most effectively. Alright, so I'm going to waste their untapped land first. Just want to constrict their options. It also constricted my own options, so it wasn't like free to do that. Like if Brainstorm found a fetch land, I probably would have been a lot happier. But I really just need a Swords to Plowshares. Teferi is a pretty good card. So what happens if I take this? They Force of Negation, countering Teferi. I go to 7. And then Oh wait, no, I have Force of Will in my hand. What am I even talking about? Alright, so I cast Teferi, I protect it with Force, I bounce Delver, hope they don't have Daze in their hand. Shit. Okay, so they dazed. Now I have a choice. I can force the Daze and hope they don't have another blue card. I guess that's pretty good regardless, because that'll at least get the 2 cards out of their hand. They'll have 1 unknown card left. And it's possible they don't have a blue card. Alright. We got a Brainstorm out of their hand. Teferi's gone. I am at effectively 6. They have a land in hand, and Delver is their only permanent. I hope there's a Wasteland on top of my deck. I forgot. I didn't really pay attention to how I was stacking them because I got so excited about the Force of Will. Let's just hope they don't have a Shadow here. Alright, they didn't have a Shadow. Alright, there is a Wasteland on top. Alright, Brainstorm, save me. Alright, Brainstorm saved me. Holy guacamole. If I waste, then they can't daze. But if I can stick the Pyroblast and the Standstill this turn, that's crazy. I'm just going to be more patient about that. All right, we're going to go to their turn, and I'm going to Pyroblast in their upkeep to play around Force of Negation. All right, their last card in hand was not Force of Will. So if they go land threat, we're probably losing this game. If we can stick the Standstill, we're probably winning the game. All right, now we're miles ahead. My top card is Island, which is not exciting, but we'll get through it pretty quick if they break Standstill, and we're happy to just make a land drop if they don't. However, the way this game is right now, if they just go like fetch land, Death Shadow, and my top 4 cards don't answer it, I lose. And we know one of those top 4 cards is Island, so if the next 3 cards don't answer it, I just lose on the spot. 1, 2... Yeah, I've used 2 Wastelands, so they should still have lands in their deck. I guess they're just deciding if they want to get the Underground Sea or just YOLO into the Watery Grave. If they get Sea, then I am not dead to Death Shadow. If they get Watery Grave, then they are in some trouble to like Snapcaster or Shark Beats. I mean, whatever happens, Standstill is here to carry me. I don't know why this fetch is taking so long. They're thinking hard about it. Or maybe they realize that all the lands in their deck are still in their hand. All right, they went with the sea. Oh, there's the Death Shadow line, the land shadow. Okay, so I guess I just have to ponder here. I don't have enough mana to put sharks back on top of my deck and draw them this turn and make a shark. Okay, that's really good though. All right, we're probably going to live to see another turn here. If they have exactly snuff out, I lose. I'm going to leave up Red Blast because a 1/1 shark is the same as a 2/2 shark in this situation, and I actually have a spell I can cast. All right, this Ponder is going to have to do some work. We know Supreme Verdict is the top card, so if Ponder finds a white source or a Plow, those are both great. Do I have enough mana? So it costs 3 to put the thing on top. Nope. All right, I'm 1 mana short of pondering my shark spec. Okay. Do not shuffle. Let's go. Basic Plains. Supreme Verdict. And then next turn, we can start recurring sharks. So we just need to fade a lethal threat this turn. I have Delvers covered. I don't have Gurmag or Death Shadow covered. I will fire off Pyroblast on any cantrip they cast. All right. Now the end game is here. Let's see if they've been slow rolling a Wasteland or if they boarded them out. Guess they could also like Surgical Extraction. But if they do that, then that's not a threat they're presenting, so that's okay. Not excited about it, but it's okay. Oh, they do still have Wasteland in their deck. And I am going to put Shark Typhoon on top and not Standstill. Though there might be an argument to do Standstill instead. Though with them at 8 life, this Shark is pretty good. It puts them on a 2-turn clock. It's a chump blocker if I need it. I was pointing that at the first thing it could be pointed at. Like there was never a conversation to be had about this Pyroblast. Wow, they force of willed Pyroblast. Yeah, they're hurting here. They need something. I don't know if current builds play 1 or 2 Underground Seas. Like I know it's 3 Watery Graves, but I don't know if they have 5 total lands or 4 total lands. They did not shuffle, so they came up with something here. Oh, they came up with another Ponder. That's probably fine. Because they don't have any like burn in the deck. There's no reach. So if I make my shark this turn, attack them to 2, even if they present a bunch of threats next turn, they're dead. I guess if they sculpt a hand that is like exactly Death Shadow plus Fatal Push and I brick on my draw steps, they could still win this. They chose to shuffle. You love to see it. Just going maximum shark here. There's no reason to hold any mana back. Flusterstorm should shut this door. Yeah, so now I can remove a threat, and I can stop their removal for my threat while they're dead on board. And do we get the scoop? Or is there going to be one more display of fireworks? They did find a removal spell. Clutch Flusterstorm for the win. Who's the Delver deck now? 2-0. On to the next round. And it's round 3. We're on the draw. Our opening hand has Island Ponder, but on top of Island Ponder, it also has Force of Will so we don't die, and Standstill to refill. So this is a well above average hand. I am going to cast the Ponder because in an ideal world, oh yikes, that's why I cast Ponder. In an ideal world, I'm just jamming Standstill on turn 2, and I really want land drops lined up after that point. Ooh, we're playing against Elves or Maverick. I guess there are some bug decks that do this too, like something with Green Sun Zenith, but whatever it is. All right, Heritage Druid on a board with no other elves is fine. I can get Tundra against this deck. They're not going to mess with my mana. Oh, that was really bad. Now they just attack me for 2 a bunch of times and I lose. Whoops, I did not think about that. All right, so Waste... I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I should have pondered last turn. Yeah, I should have pondered last turn. That was so bad. So horrifically bad. Yeah, my brain was just like, yeah, they can't combo if I stand still, but now I'm gonna lose for sure. All right, so yeah, I needed some lands and okay, so I don't think I want to get rid of both of these standstills. Though maybe they are just the worst cards. Yeah. I'll deal with that later. Which of these is more important to plow? I think it's the Dryad Arbor, because they need to do a bunch of work to get the Heritage Druid to do anything. Oh, I should ponder here also. Yeah, so they have to do some work to get the Heritage Druid functional. I'm drawing the Spell Pierce because I'm happy to pitch that to my double force here, and then I'll have Snapcaster Mage and Plow next turn to try to mop up what they do. If I hadn't let them draw 3 extra cards, we would be like miles ahead right now. So I think I Force of Will this. Like right now, I'm just trying to keep material off the board. Like that represented 3 mana. All right, another Heritage Druid, another Cradle, cool. Visionary. All right, now they can get nasty all over me. How bad is it going to be? All right, not the worst. Imagine if they had 2 cards in hand instead of 5 right now. Dumbass. All right. So I can plow now to try to reduce what they have access to, but I'm actually going to try to ambush them in combat. Like if I can block something and plow something else, then I get double duty. And if they have the combo, they're just going to go for it. And I pitched the Spell Pierce. It was not in my hand. Not that Spell Pierce can beat a Heritage Druid board anyway. All right, so I punted the shit out of this game. That is what it is. Now to try to navigate it. So basically I need to survive at least 2 turns and find a supreme verdict. That's really all I can do. Oh, Glimpse of Nature, I'm not beating that. The third cradle of the game. And Hoof. They draw a card off Hoof. Hoof resolves. Even they'd be attacking me with 4 5/5s, even if I answer the Hoof, so I am deceased. All right. Okay, let's play less bad. I like Verdict. I like Mentor. Containment Priest is excellent. I'm gonna bring in Disenchant because they probably have Choke. Deafening Silence is not super helpful against elves. Flusterstorm's a maybe. Force. All right, so I'm gonna cut some number of Standstills because they have 2 Dryad Arbors in their deck. Like even if I jam it on an empty board, a fetch land breaks parity in a way that is intolerable. So Standstill is out. Myth Realize can really dominate combat in this sort of game. I do want my force of all 5 forces. Crucible is probably less good here than I usually like. All right, so then having Flusterstorm is an option. Flusterstorm is pretty good early on, like it'll stop me from getting cheesed by like a quick natural order or a quick glimpse, but in the later game, it's absolutely abysmal. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna lean on my hard counters. Plus they have Allosaurus Shepherd now, so counterspells are not what they used to be. Yeah, Elves is a tough matchup for most control decks, because like we saw last game, like even if you can stop their combo, they still just have some power laying around in play. So you need to manage the combo and the board. Yeah, this hand's good. An opener with Swords to Plowshares is where I want to be. And I'm gonna lead on Myth Realized. I want to get that going early and often. Nettle Sentinel. That's one of their least exciting ways to start a game, so I'm glad that happened. Oh, I should have used Scalding Tarn to fetch here because Prismatic Vista can get basic planes and Scalding Tarn cannot. I don't think I need to plow this Nettle Sentinel right away. Maybe I should have. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to take 2 here. The 2 life is unlikely to really matter. I'll see what they follow up with. Elvish Visionary is whatever. All right, I'll plow now, and I'm drawing another plow. I have Force of Will if I need it. No, I should ponder. Okay, Containment Priest is very nice, though I no longer have Force of Will. Shit, like I said, I no longer have Force of Will. Hopefully Containment Priest will stop like all of the worst things that might happen to me this turn. Oh wow, just like nothing. Please attack, please attack. All right, we both we both did one of these this match. Theirs is probably less horrible than mine, though. I do want this Brainstorm on top of my deck. I'm leaving my mana up for now, rather than beating in with Myth Realized. Oh shit, I should have put in Containment Priest. They're gonna get Dryad Arbor, and I'm an idiot. Okay, suboptimal play there. Okay, I can still Containment Priest, and I have Force of Will. Alright, let's see what I can do about this. So I can put back... I can put Force of Will and Counterspell back into my deck, where they can't get Thoughtseized. They're gonna Thoughtseize to Fairy, but I'm just gonna have to live with that. If I had sequenced my fetch lands correctly earlier, I would have a basic plains in here and be like slightly less exposed to a choke. Alright, so they get to take to Fairy, and now I am on the beatdown plan. Like, I'm just gonna crunch for 7 next turn. Uh, 7 is the same as 8. So I'm not gonna pump here, I'm gonna represent something. But end step I'll pump again. You wanna attack? How frisky you feeling? Oh no, the second main Glimpse of Nature after the land drop. Yeah, it was just cantrip. Okay, now we're in business. I actually have a Force of Will. I'm no longer bluffing. Not attacking with Containment Priest anymore. Get Dryad Arbor, get Dryad Arbor, get Dryad Arbor. Shit, they know how that works. Once upon a time, sure. So this thing can become 3/4. Oh, I didn't pump end step. I guess I still have a lethal attack though. All right, so they make a 3/4, and they can activate it and get Cradle. At least I think Cradle is the best thing they can get. I mean, they might have like a Bajuka Bog, but I don't really care about that. Is that what I care about? Probably. Like, they can't Natural Order or Green Sun Zenith, so Glimpse is their biggest banger left. Oh, drawing Counterspell's insane there, because that means I get to attack with Containment Priest. Because they have the Symbiote Visionary Best Friend combo. So attacking with Myth Realized isn't great by itself, but getting in with Priest alongside it is really great. And I am going to counterspell the Visionary. Am I going to counterspell the Visionary? Yes. Because the spells I care about at this point are Natural Order and Abrupt Decay. Oh, bummer. I don't have enough white because I didn't fetch that basic plains earlier. But I do have to clear this symbiote to actually win the game. Metal Sentinel being a 2/2, really good. Alright, so now they have a gazillion mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could cast Craterhoof Behemoth right now. Is that lethal? Am I tapped too low? If I lose the game on turn 9 because of the fetch land I cracked on turn 1, that would be perfect Legacy Justice. Yeah, this is a Craterhoof. And they have exactly my life total in to attack with, so I have to block. Yep, if I had another white, I would have easily controlled this game. All right, so now what happens? I just plow this and they lose. Okay. There is no justice. Ooh, that was a tight game. I probably didn't deserve to win that, but on to game 3 we go. Yeah, that seriously punished by fetching with Prismatic Vista instead of Scalding Tarn on turn 2, and it almost lost me the game on turn 9. That was pretty cool. All right, I don't think anything changes here. If I'm planning for a longer game, Crucible could be really good. Just clear out those cradles and the bayous and stuff, leave them with like only their 2 basic forests to play the game on. But I don't really think I can plan for that sort of world against the combo deck. Like, Supreme Verdict is the same as Wasteland and Cradle, so I'll do this. I'll stick it out. Yeah, I let them Ancestral Recall in game 1. They put a creature in the graveyard on board in game 2. So we're even. Let's and if they had one more creature in play on that last turn, Craterhoof would have been lethal. So it actually did matter. We both punted one. Now let's play a good game and just see who actually wins. This hand is really bad. Okay. This one is better. I think having 2 forces to buy time up into the Supreme Verdict is a better line than trying to Council's Judgment stuff. I really wish I drew Plow there. Plowing a turn 1 Dryad Arbor is just the nastiest shit. But finding the second white source, so Supreme Verdict is actually online here, huge deal. This looks like a Zenith for 1. Yep. All right, they got the Shepherd, unfortunately. Perfect. That's just what I was looking for when they just got Shepherd. I could just lose this turn. Like if they just go like Cradle natural order for Progenitus. Can I beat a Progenitus? I don't know. Is that a crazy question? Can anyone beat Progenitus? It has protection from everything. Yeah, maybe I should have forced that Zenith, because like it's pretty like Allosaurus Shepherd is a pretty reasonable guess that they're gonna go get. Alright, no Cradle. Do you attack? You do not attack. Alright, so I'm gonna cycle just to get some velocity here. Like I really need to find land number 4. And Swords to Plowshares would be insane, because then I can Plow Shepherd and counterspell something on the stack. Obviously that didn't happen, so I might just die. Though if they have a slow hand or they respect the plow, though I don't think they will. Like I think they're just going to jam. You don't commit this hard with the double Dryad Arbor. Yeah, if I force a will their Green Sun Zenith, I win this game easily, but because I didn't, I'm going to lose instead. Guess they have to have the natural order right now. That's a good card. That's also a good card. Just don't have natural order, please. One-time dealer. I'm using my one time. I don't think they're going to respect it, though. This is a Zenith for Hoof. Yep, dead straight up to Allosaurus Shepherd. Supreme Verdict in hand. I should have respected that Zenith more, because my hand just couldn't beat this card. Look at all these counter spells, yeah. All right, I messed that one up. I punted game 1 and game 3. So play better. Like if I just forced the Zenith, we would have won that game super easily. Just one turn for the Supreme Verdict and they're gone. They're both their Dryad Arbors. They're down to one land in play. Easy game. So just play tighter and that's fine. But Elves versus Control usually does come down to who played better. And it was not me in that match. Okay, round 4, Seeking Redemption. We're on the draw. I have Island Ponder. I'm going to keep. This is a hand that loses to Chalice of the Void. Uh-oh, Mountain. We might get Chalice of the Voided here. That's what it's looking like. I hope they just play Warren Instigator instead of Chalice. Shit. Okay, so I'm going to need to draw some lands pretty quickly here. All right, we found one. I'm going to play this one first because there's a good chance they are a Blood Moon deck. And if I fetch with this, then I'll have double blue instead of just the one. If they don't present a threat this turn, we can stick Standstill, and then that's at least a sign of life. But if they jam like Rabble Master or some shit this turn, we're just dead. Okay, you're saying there's a chance. Even found Shark Typhoon. So I'm going to get the Tundra. Even though there's a good chance they're a Blood Moon deck, until they show me the Blood Moon, I want to be able to cast my spells. So, like, my way to remove Chalice in the main deck is Teferi and Council's Judgment. So I'm going to need white in this game. And if they moon me, it's not like I'm down mana. I'm just down a colored source, a blue source. All right, and now we have Sharknado, so we're going to start putting damage on the board and drawing cards. Yeah, here's the problem with these stompy decks. You had that really awesome turn 1 Chalice to the Void, and then you literally did nothing. And here I am with 3 lands and a Standstill. And turn 1 Chalice is very good, but I am playing a deck that sort of mitigates that. And obviously, like, look at all the cards it knocked out of my hand. But and I even identified it as the scariest card when I kept the hand. This is a Trinisphere. Okay, so I get to draw 3. Do I even care about Trinisphere? I mean, maybe. I'm not really casting spells anyway. So I'm going to save my Force of Will. They don't even have 3 lands, and they're out here making a Trinisphere. Like, that's a bold life. Yeah, I can't cast my spells anyway, so I'm just hanging out over here. All right, let's draw some more cards. It might be a little dangerous not leaving up Force of Will here, but the way they've played this game makes me think I don't really need to right now. I'm going to discard Swords to Plowshares to hand size. Though this is the dangerous Standstill. Standstilling when you have 7 cards in hand, your opponent is pretty likely to be able to just make you draw a million and end up discarding most of them. Uh-oh, another Simian Spirit Guide. Blood Sun. Okay. Blood Sun is much scarier than Blood Moon, and this is why. Now I have this Prismatic Vista that does nothing, and Hall of Heliod's Intervention can't loop my Shark Typhoon. So, like, if I had just found double white here, probably would be fine, but we didn't. So instead, we're in a pretty scary spot. I think oh, right, that doesn't do anything. I wonder if I'm just supposed to keep piling on the standstills. Just keep drawing cards, I guess. And I can discard Prismatic Vista basically for free because with Blood Sun it doesn't have text, and I don't have enough ways to clear that out that I'm going to use it. Like, I'm going to answer probably Chalice first, then Trinisphere in that order, and like Blood Sun is an afterthought. These standstills have been pretty fucked up, though. Basic Plains. Okay, so now if they... Actually, that's kind of awkward now, because if I answer Blood Sun, I can get my Hall online, and their Trinisphere and Chalice don't matter at all. This is a sweet combo, City of Traders and Blood Sun, because City loses the ability of sacrificing it. I'm holding Force of Will, though. Alright, so sneak attack, let's draw our cards. Force of Will, this jerk. Yeah, a local in Pittsburgh plays this deck exclusively, the mono red sneak attack deck. So I have some reps, you can say. All right, so I have triple white now. I should be able to win this game pretty cleanly. I just have to figure out how. If I answer the Blood Sun, then I can start recurring sharks, and I have a second Force of Will at the ready here. So, yep, somehow I am going after the Blood Sun. That is the scariest of these assembled permanents. So Blood Sun is out of here. I think I do want to Wasteland. Take out the Ancient Tomb. Because they've been hurting on mana this whole game, and they have this Trinisphere that is locking themselves out. I can still Force of Will here, and if they don't do anything I need to force, then I can just put my Sharknado on top of the deck, and then we start the real beats. Sneak attack. All right, another one bites the dust. That's 2 of their 4 cards in their deck. They only play 4 cards in their whole deck. So I'm pretty sure I want to get my Sharknado on upkeep. Then I draw it for turn. I have a land. All right, if they have the 3rd sneak attack, I could just lose, but let's hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, if I even get a 2/2 Shark into play here, I'll probably take a natural draw step next turn, looking for one of my many counter spells. Okay, I guess I have to now. The Blood Sun has arrived. Yeah, Tundra's better. If they're on Sun and not Moon, that is just a lot. It's better to just have Tundra in play. So now that Blood Sun's back, the city is back online. Like they can actually make land drops now. All right, we just tripled our clock. We got one good use out of the hall, and a good use it was. Wrong counterspell. I didn't find a counterspell. Oh, I should have put Standstill on top of my deck in my upkeep. Oh, I can't. They have Blood Sun. Lit. Okay, so now it's just a race of do they find a sneak attack before I find a counterspell or kill them? If we were just looking at a spreadsheet full of numbers, I'm ahead, like way ahead this game. But, I mean, they really just need one top deck to end the game. I do have a lot of permanents in play, though. Like, even if they do get an Emrakul out, they kind of have to do it more than once. Just hard casting Lotus Petal, setting up for the future. The old Trinisphere Lotus Petal combo deck. Yep. Really, really doesn't work. Bummer. Force Will. Ooh, Crucible. That is a good card. Oh, no, it's not, because they have Blood Sun. Wow, I keep wanting my cards to be good, but they're just not. Do I even play the Crucible? Does it do anything? I think playing this island is just better than playing Crucible. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I should have played Crucible and played a land out of my graveyard in case they do get an Emrakul into play. That would have been 2 very easy permanents to sacrifice to Annihilator. I'll do that next turn. All right, Wasteland's in play. Okay, so that's 2 easy sacks to Annihilator. So they would have to find Show and Tell, or find Sneak Attack, and get Emrakul and Grizzlebrand into play. They can't activate Grizzlebrand anymore, or they would have to Emrakul twice. About to put them to 1. All right, tenuous, but here it is. I guess I could have left back my 1/1 Shark as a blocker. Like I annihilate a bunch of permanents and then block, and then I'm at 17 life instead of 2. And that way Emrakul plus Grizzlebrand doesn't even beat me. Yeah, I probably should have left 1/1 Shark back. Like they'd be at 2, so they couldn't tap Ancient Tomb. They're still on a 1-turn clock. Yeah, that would have been better. Turned out it didn't matter, but that would have been a better attack. Okay, what do we got here? Containment Priest dumpsters their deck pretty well. Monastery Mentor I like. Disenchant among the best cards there is. I don't think I need any of this other stuff. Like Flusterstorm, they are a Seething Song deck, but this counters like literally only Seething Song, so nah. What is not so good? Jace is excellent. Like any sort of win condition is good. Every counterspell in win condition is good. All right, so Swords to Plowshares, not so good. Maybe Supreme Verdict is actually worse. Like you need some number of removal in because there's a good chance they're going to pivot into Rabble Masters. So Plow, though, like Plow can hit Grizzlebrand, but not Emrakul. They don't really have a way to put the creatures into play permanently, so Supreme Verdict doesn't matter unless they are on the Rabble Master plan, in which case Supreme Verdict's a lot better than Swords of Plowshares. It's a whole dance. It's it's a whole thing. But I think I'm gonna go easy like this. Like my main deck is pretty good against what they're doing already. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. We kept a hand on the draw that loses to Chalice. They had Chalice, and we didn't lose. So I'm feeling invincible right now. This hand does not lose to Chalice. It's actually quite good. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. If they have something messed up on turn 1, I can force it. If they don't, I'm going to hold up Spell Pierce until I can stick to Fairy. And then life is good. I'm going to lead on the Flooded Strand, even though I have Brainstorm, because if they have Blood Sun or Blood Moon, I want to be able to fetch that basic planes before it's too late. It's pretty awkward, but I think if they do have a turn 1 Chalice or something I have to respect, I have to pitch Brainstorm, because Spell Pierce is so good against their deck, and so is Teferi. Hopefully they just won't have anything, but this deck doesn't keep hands that don't do anything. Wait, was I wrong? They did keep a hand that doesn't do anything. Nice. All right, so I'm just going to hold up Spell Pierce, and that should be pretty hard for them to beat. Important to note, though, these all only answer non-creatures. All right, so I'm going to be disrespectful of Blood Moon and just play against Blood Sun here and get Tundra instead of basic. Like Blood Sun, weirdly good. Like way better than Blood Moon against these basic heavy control decks. Yo. We got a plan. So now we just get to play the Delver game. Like we just go like tit for tat with them and the myth grows along the way. And they have that Ancient Tomb as a mana source, so they're really under the gun. I'm not going to force that. Oh, just the old nothing. I like nothing. I'm not just gonna jam Teferi when it has nothing good to bounce. That's not what this life is about. I'm gonna keep the shit out of some counterspell. All right, so now I have counterspell and force. And they have 2 cards in hand, and I have 2 counterspells in mine. So it's gonna be pretty hard to lose this game. And next turn I can leave them up and still attack with Myth Realized. Chalice of the Void. Do I care about that? I don't think so, because I have Teferi. I could fire off this Brainstorm in response. Does that even do anything? No, Brainstorm, if they're gonna Chalice me, Brainstorm's an easy pitch to force. Plus I have Teferi. I'm drawing a fetch land, so I can cast Teferi. I don't even really need to bounce Chalice. That doesn't even do anything. Oh, I thought I had a fetch land on top. Where'd it go? Is it under the Teferi? Or under the Brainstorm? All right, bounce that. Okay, yeah, there's the fetch land. All right. I think I played this turn really poorly. I should have waited until I could cast a fairy with all of the other backup spells. Like tapping out a counter spell was super loose here. What the fuck is this? Are we getting Bone Crusher Gianted? Oh, we're getting nothing because I have Teferi. Wow, that's rough. They couldn't Control Z to get their Lotus Petal back? That's weird. Kind of feel bad for them. Now they're down a Lotus Petal for no reason. All right, so if they go for... Teferi's going to protect me from like Red Blast backup. If they go for a sneak attack, I have the Force. Are they going for Chalice on 2? So that turns off Counterspell, but it leaves my Brainstorms on. Yeah, I don't even care about that. It also stops future Chalice on 1s. So, deal. I found a fetch land and a million spells to cast. Yeah, I'll get rid of the lands. I do play answers to Chalice in my deck, so I understand I just kept 2 2-mana cards in my hand, but I think that's okay. Well, I can't cast Counterspell anyway, so I might as well tap out for Mentor and get this game over with. Force of Negation in my hand, Force of Will on top, Mentor and Myth Realized in play. This game's going to end very quickly from here. Can even hard cast Force of Negation. I wonder if they're regretting that Chalice on 2. Like, I'm not an expert with Chalice, but every time I play Chalice and I'm like, maybe 1 isn't the right number anymore, I just fucking lose to cantrips. Okay, I'm gonna put back Snapcaster and Containment Priest in the other order. Snapcaster and Containment Priest. Because now I have this Council's Judgment that I can cast at instant speed. Though I still think that just getting in with Myth Realize is going to end the game faster. They're on a 2-turn clock this way. It would be a 3-turn clock if I waste time destroying their Chalice. Yeah, so I'll just pass with my 2 counter spells up, Teferi in play, 2 cards in their hand. They are very dead. Countered. Like I said, Chalice on 2, counters Chalice on 1. See you later. And because they didn't do anything, I can just ponder in their end step. All right, and they packed it up. That's the right call. They are dead on board. All right, easy money. I love playing against those red stompy decks with blue-white control. All right, it's the final round. We're on the draw. This is about the closest hand we've seen so far. Of like whether it's a keep or a mull, and I'm gonna keep this. It's not very good. Like any cantrip sends it into a great hand. Oh, if they're a combo deck, we might just lose. If they're a stompy deck and we just have 5 lands in our hand, we might just win. So it goes both ways. Let's hope they're stompy. Okay. Cabal Ritual is not usually a stompy card. Unless they're like some sort of Pox stompy. Is this Curse stompy? Oh, this is oops all spells. Oops. Okay. We died on turn 1. But now we know what they're up to, and that shouldn't happen again. So look at the cards. How does this work? So they have 3 Narcomoebas, a Dread Return, and a Thassa's Oracle. That's how this works. They have 4 Pact of Negations in the main deck, and some Cabal Therapies, and they have 2 Goblin Charbelchers as a backup plan. Okay. Alright. I'm dead. That's what you get when you try to play fair, sometimes. Okay, so Containment Priest, they can't beat that. They can't beat Rest in Peace. Stony Silence and Null Rod are very good. I'm pretty sure Flusterstorm is very good. Surgical is very good. Deafening Silence, very good. Pyroblast, not so good. Like you can pick off Narcomoebas so they can't Dread Return, but that's not really the axis you want to be fighting on. Standstill is probably not going to matter. These games are going to go a lot faster than that. Council's Judgment has no text at all. Swords of Plowshares can be good at picking off Narcomoebas, but that's the same reason I said Pyroblast wasn't good, so maybe I should check myself. Crucible of Worlds, this is not the matchup for that. Myth Realized, I gotta win the game somehow. Alright, Swords to Plowshares can relax a little. Mentor is better than Jace, as far as win conditions go. I guess Standstill is probably better than I'm giving it credit for. Teferi might be a bit of a clunker, and then I can get my Standstills back. Alright, I mean, this looks fine. This is going to go fast either way. Wasteland is probably... Actually, it's like almost functionally identical to Mountain in this matchup. Oh, I might want Disenchant in case they have to like Belcher and pass the turn. Supreme Verdict is not good. Do I even have any of those still in? So one more card. Maybe I want Teferi back. That will at least that can mess up a Belcher turn also, and it turns off Force of Negation. All right, yeah, that's fine. I don't think I need Supreme Verdict against this deck. I would like to play first. I'm going to keep the shit out of this hand. I'm just going to screenshot this for the Twitter and just watch me lose this game now. All right, I've kept the hand. Teferi being a blue card, very important here. It's basically the only thing Teferi is doing here. All right, if I draw a land, I don't think we can ever lose. All right, that's one of the worst draws in the deck at this point. Though I have now told my opponent loud and clear, my hand is just 6 answers. If you keep a 1-lander and don't do anything, you don't even cantrip, like, they know I'm sitting on fat stacks here. Hopefully, like, if they Cabal Therapy, that could get me pretty good. All right, I think I want to, I don't know what I want to do here. Undercity Informer. So I can Force of Will this and hold on to the Surgical, though I think Surgical also just beats them. Okay, that's even better. So they get their Pact. I just hope they don't have 2 packs, I guess. I think if I hit their Narcomoebas, I win. Let's see if I lost because I didn't hit my land drop. 3 packs are going to the graveyard, so they don't have another pact. All right, the cards are in the graveyard. And I'll extract Narcomoeba. And then they lose. All right. We managed to thread that nail with our insane unbeatable hand. Okay, I don't think my deck changes at all. I mean, Standstill is worse on the draw than it is on the play, but it is still a blue card, and it's not like I have cheaper cards I can bring in. Yeah, I mean, this is the deck I'm able to present. It's got a mulligan aggressively and hope they can't get through the hate. I'll keep. I have 2 points of 0 mana interaction. And if I get a turn, I'll have 3 points of interaction. Though my opponent, I did need 3 points of interaction last game because my opponent did have a large number of spells. Like I needed all 3 points of interaction, both forces and the surgical. So they name Force of Will. They see the Flusterstorm and the surgical. All right, so they know what they're up against at least, though they did get the easy one with the therapy. I mean, I'm going to Flusterstorm this. And we drew a blue source for counterspell, so the walls are staying up. We're going to need a way to win the game, though. Mentor off the top. That's not Mentor. They don't know about planes. All right, doesn't matter. Yeah, so now we're in a position where we're favored, but they can win the game at any point, and it's going to take me multiple things to do it. Snapcaster is the perfect thing, because if they go for anything, it's both another answer and a threat. There's probably some argument to just casting Snap. All right, I'm gonna brainstorm. All right, now I can Snap Brainstorm at will. And now I have multiple clocks in play, so I can still counterspell and surgical. If they do nothing, I can Snap Brainstorm. I can also Snap Fluster if they do something. So I'm pretty well set up here. But they have 7 cards in hand, so let's see what they got. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to fight over anything except their payoff at this point. So because I have the double Snapcaster, it's just like totally free to cash in this one on a Brainstorm, and I'm still holding up the Flusterstorm next turn. Wasteland. Is Wasteland actually good? That might seem like a silly question, but having more mana, I guess it doesn't really matter. So I'm drawing most of these cards anyway. So yeah, I do want the extra mana. So if I activate Myth Realized, I attack for 3. Then I counterspell and snap Flusterstorm. Yeah, the extra mana was actually huge. So I have 3 points of interaction right now, and a real clock. And every time I cast a spell, my clock gets better. Oh, Agadeem, Wasteland, do your thing. Putting a lore counter on Myth Realized is better than other options, like better than just the naked Snapcaster. All right, this is risky if I don't find a land. Oh, Deafening Silence. That's even better. All right, so I can't cast spells anymore. But neither can they. And I think under these circumstances, I do want a Wasteland. Because getting rid of their non-spell mana under Deafening Silence is way better. All right, and they backed it up. So 4-1, the loss was I punted game 1 and 3 against Elves. So this deck definitely has staying power. I like it. I didn't miss back to basics, but we didn't really play against any decks that would care. This deck is very good against all that stompy kind of nonsense, like the Oops All Spells, Belcher, and Red Stompy. We even took a smooth set against the Epic Storm, which is one of the tougher matchups in general, but we made it look easy. So I'm going to be considering this deck for Eternal Weekend, and there's 3 tournaments. I'll probably play in at least one of them. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.